All right, guys, welcome to Path to the Podium, episode 8, pick number 8. It's going to be the Carolina Panthers today. Now, let's start talking about the Carolina Panthers. But before we start talking about them, I hope you guys like this video, and if you guys do, please leave a like and subscribe. And if not, then I guess just don't. But we're close to 15 subscribers. I'm recording this today after the Super Bowl, where the Eagles absolutely destroyed the Chiefs. But right now, we're worried about the future, because now it's officially draft, offseason. You know, it's the time as a Giants fan where I get to be happy. And, of course, all the other episodes of Path to the Podium are in the description below. So, let's roll. So, this Panthers team, although without a second-round pick this year, which is not good, however, they could be a lot worse. Bryce Young's a good quarterback. I mean, he's not a good quarterback. He's a decent quarterback. He's not here because I think he's on IR. Chuba Hubbard is going to be here in this running back room. You also have Jonathan Brooks, so I think you're fine at running back for right now. They just paid him. Adam Thielen's staying another year. I'm pretty sure that was announced like a little while ago. You have Xavier Legette, who, while not great, also not terrible. And then a couple of depth guys. We're probably going to take another receiver, but overall not too bad. Tight end is somewhere that could definitely use some room. Ike Ekwonu, offensive line is decent, not too bad. And then this defense, I feel like, is where you need the most work. The defensive back room isn't bad. I do kind of like them. The front seven could definitely use some work. So I think that's probably what we're going to be looking for with this number 8 overall pick. And yeah, I think we should get started with the NFL offseason. Sorry, I got like a little bit of hiccups today. So we have 19 mil left in cap space. Let's see who we have. Who can we cut? Taylor Moton, Robert Hunt, Derek Brown. Those guys are going to stay. Damian Lewis, he can stay. Bryce Young, A'Shawn Robinson, Shy Tuttle. I think we can get rid of Tuttle. We already have Derek Brown and A'Shawn Robinson being paid. We don't need another interior defensive lineman, and we saved $3 million by cutting him. Miles Sanders, definitely, he's been garbage all year. Adam Thielen, we're gonna keep. DJ Wonham, we'll keep as well. Josie Jewell is fine. Chuba Hubbard, we just re-signed. Other than that, I think those are the cuts we're gonna make. Any big restructures I can save? On JC Horn, if I restructure, I can save. I don't think this team is going to compete yet, so I think we're going to keep the 27 mil we have right now. Just re-sign these two guys, and let's see who we have. Backup quarterback Andy Dalton. We could probably re-sign him depending on how much he wants. Austin Corbett is going to be an expensive ask, I think. Caleb Farley. I didn't even realize he was on the Panthers. Who else do we have? Eddie Pinheiro, Felipe Franks, Johnny Hecker. Yeah, we already got rid of Raheem Blackshear, who's not that good though. Tommy Tremble, Velus Jones, Xavier Woods. Okay, let's look at these starters. Xavier Woods is definitely a starter, so we want to bring him back. What is he making though? So let's go to the Carolina Panthers. Safety. Xavier Woods is making $5 million a year. 3 years. He's getting close to 30. He's doing fine. I'm cool offering like another 2-year deal with like 5.1 million with 20% guaranteed. He accepts that. I'm good with that. Nice 2-year deal. Shaq Thompson at linebacker, I do like. So let's grab. Is he gonna be here? Yeah. He's 29. We signed him on a 1 year for $3 million. I think we could do the same thing. I'd love to keep him for another year at the exact same deal. 1 year, 105 mil, and then do like 30% guaranteed. Will he take that? Yeah, he will take that. Shy Tuttle I already cut. Who else? Austin Corbett was hurt, but he definitely had a decent contract with us, or he was a younger guy. So guard, is he a tackle? Do they count him as a tackle? No, they must count him as a center. That's not it. A center. Austin Corbett making $8.5 million a year. We can. How much money do we have left? We have 19 mil left. 875 mil. I mean, our center was good last year, so I'm cool giving him the same thing for another 2 years. 25% guaranteed. I think that's what it was, right? 875. So 7.5. I'm going to try 8.5 first, though. See if he takes it. He does take it. Okay, so he takes a little bit of a pay cut, which is fine. Was Walton the starting tackle? No, it was Moton and Ekwonu. Tommy Tremble, Adam Thielen, we're keeping another year. We're good on running backs. Let's see. I think we did we see Josie Jewell here or Caleb Farley? Were you even a starter for us? Yeah, you're a depth guy. We don't really care too much about you. I think those are the guys that were really like really, what's the word for it? Worried about. So, I mean, I don't think I mean Raekwon Williams. He's on IR, but is he a starter usually? No, he really doesn't start, so no. All right. So those are the three guys we're going to re-sign during the free agency period. 3, 2, 1. That's funny. So, then we got 11 mil to play around with. Let's go through each position. Quarterback, Bryce Young, Jack Plummer. If we have enough, we'll take a backup quarterback in free agency. If not, we'll probably just get one in the draft. Running back, Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks. Probably will grab a depth guy as well. Wide receiver, could definitely use a depth guy. We'll probably draft a rookie too. Jatavion Sanders will draft a tight end as well. Offensive line is more than fine. Austin Corbett plays our center. Interior defensive line, also fine. I'm good with that. Edge, linebacker, corners, and safeties. So our main issue is depth at running back, depth at receiver, maybe one safety. Yeah, because we only have one real safety. So let's start with the most pressing, and that is the second starting safety. And I think we're going to go Jeremy Chin because he's just a safety. I think he was on the Panthers as well. Well, he was on the Commanders last year. For 1 year, $4 million. I mean, he was solid for them. And if we need a solid starter for 1 year, $4 million, I'll gladly take that. And now we have $7 million remaining to sign a depth receiver. Not looking for anyone crazy. I think I'll sign Mike Williams. I don't know what he was on last year, but he was bad. JMO and Mike. He signed a $10 million deal. He's not that good, and he did like nothing. Can I get him for like? Honestly, I wouldn't pay more than like 2, 3. He's probably not going to sign this because of how much he was making. I'll give him guaranteed, but he's not going to sign it yet. So let's go even farther down. We could sign Robert Woods, maybe. I don't think he had too much of a... What was he making last year? $7 million. Receivers are expensive, even the depth ones. Rondale Moore, George Pickens... Here's 28. Cedric Wilson at 2.8. Rashid Shaheed. Ray McLeod. I mean, I'm just going to try and find someone that we could sign for like a 2-year a 1-year deal, 2.5, and then 40% guaranteed. Robert Woods is that guy. I'm pretty cool with that. He could be a decent depth guy. We'll probably draft someone as well. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a depth tight end in Nick Vannett. We don't need anybody crazy. We just need somebody there. So we look at what he made last year on the Tennessee Titans. I believe he was on the Tennessee Titans. Yep. 1125. If we go 1 year, $1 million, 45% guaranteed. Nope. 1 year, 1.25 mil, 1%, 40% guaranteed. Rejected. Okay, Nick Vannett. The absolute most I'm going is 1.5. 40%. Yeah, okay, good. So now we have 2 tight ends, which is good. And the last thing that we're going to need is a depth running back. Very depth. Let's go with Cam Akers. Actually, to be fair, he had a decent year. I think we'll probably go with Clyde. See if we can get 1.5 mil. Like a 1 year, 1.5 mil, 30% guaranteed. Let's try 1.25. Offer accepted, yeah. Because he knows he's not going to play that much. But overall, not too bad. I mean, we got a couple of guys. We're going to save the rest of the cap space. Sign Clyde, sign Jeremy Chin again, Nick Vannett, and Robert Woods. This free agency was all about just getting depth on this roster. And we didn't really have enough for a quarterback to sign. We only have $1 million left in cap. But I think that overall, not too bad. And yeah, this team wasn't terrible towards the end of last year. I also don't think they could be too terrible at the end of this round. So let's go on to the final part of this video, and that is the mock draft. All right, let's get started on the mock draft. I don't plan on trading up with the Carolina Panthers. Honestly, if there's a decent offer, I might try and trade down because, I mean, we have a decent amount of picks. Nothing in the second round, though, which does worry me. Unfortunately, Mykel Williams, the edge, did get taken before us. This is an interesting top 6. So, ideally, Tetairoa McMillan is on the board. Could use a receiver, but overall, I mean, like, do I really want to bring another receiver into this? I really want to work on the defense. I'd rather have a receiver, later in the draft. So is there any way that I can trade down to, like, I think I want to trade down maybe with the Bears. Maybe the Bears try to trade up for Ashton Genty. Let me pull up a draft pick value calculator real quick to see what I should be trading this for and see what the values are like here. Okay, here we go. So here's our values. Let's see what we've got. So we have 1, which is pick number 8. Trade down with the Bears, which is pick number 10. I don't really do too many trades a lot. Let's see. Would they just give me 39? Is that a decent trade deal? Yeah, so it's not a great deal to trade at those 2 spots. So if we get these 2, would we have to give away something like, what's the value right here? We need a pick worth 400, which is pick 50. Or we can give up 2 late round picks, maybe something similar to 141 and a 5th. Something similar to that. It's been rejected. How about a different pick? So 8 for 1039. Instead of 141, we go 113 and a Carolina 5th from next year. Trade back 2 spots. Doesn't look like we're gonna do that. That's okay because hopefully we're still gonna take an edge rusher here. Ideally, I've taken Mykel Williams, but since we don't really have that luxury, I think we're gonna go with both these guys have such good stuff. I mean, Nick Scorton and James Pierce Jr. I mean, I think James Pierce Jr. is probably the better of the 2. Yeah, I think I'm going to go James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. He's just been on a better program with a better defense, and I trust him more than I do Nick Scorton. Oh my god, that I saw Tetairoa McMillan go super late. Luther Burden? When did he go? You're telling me that Luther Burden and Matthew Golden. Where is he? Oh, here he is, the Buccaneers. You're still telling me that Luther Burden went over him? That's kind of crazy. Okay, back to the draft here. So we got our edge rusher. I see D tackle, running back, QB, offensive tackles, edge, receiver. I see Isaiah Bond. I kind of like Isaiah Bond as a receiver prospect. If we're looking for some depth receivers, I see Isaiah Bond, Savion Williams, and Jaden Higgins. At the end of the second round, I know there's a trade offer from the New York Giants to get 65 and a third next year. Considering all the holes I have in this team, I'm tempted to take it, especially because maybe Isaiah Bond goes, but also maybe I'm fine taking Savion and Jaden Higgins. So I think we're going to load up on a third next year, and we're going to trade down a couple spots. Who did they end up trading up for? It was Caleb Johnson. That would be an interesting fit for the Giants. I would kind of like that. But obviously I don't want my Giants to do bad next year, but hopefully it's a good pick for the Panthers. But I do see Isaiah Bond still on the board, and I think the pick is going to be Isaiah Bond. You know, depth receiver. We only have Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, and Robert Woods on the roster. Adding Isaiah Bond, that's going to be a nice, decent addition. So I think we're going to do that. 74 and 229 for 76 and a Dallas fourth. Not too interested in that because of this part. Honestly, the 229 for the 2026 fourth is not something I want to do because I see offensive line is fine. I'm fine with the offensive line. I'm going to look at tight end here because I feel like that's a pretty big need. I do like Gunnar Helm out of Texas. I also like Terrace Ferguson and Luke Leahy. I'm not a big fan of Elijah Arroyo. I think I'm going to go with... when's our next pick? 110. Ferguson could be gone by then. If anything, I'll say... honestly, I'm going to wait on tight end because Gunnar Helm and Elijah Arroyo I don't trust enough to take this high. And Ferguson or Leahy I'd take. If Ferguson's still there by the time my pick's there, or Gunnar Helm, I guess, I'll take him. But I think we're going to wait on tight end another round and then get a linebacker out of Iowa, Jay Higgins, because linebacking depth, I mean, Josie Jewell's getting up there in age. Javion Clowney's more of an edge rather than a linebacker. So I think we'll grab a true linebacker. Go Jay Higgins. I mean, he's a little bit short, but I don't think that's going to matter here. I think he's a decent prospect. We'll go there. And then I see Luke Leahy getting taken early. Okay, Elijah Arroyo and Terrace Ferguson are still here. I'm going to take Ferguson just because we need a tight end before all of them go. So I think we're going to take another, kind of let Jatavion Sanders start. Maybe Terrence Ferguson takes over eventually, but we're going to go with Ferguson. We have another pick. We gain another pick from this year. Where's 163? 163 is in round 5. And we would give up a 7 to... So basically, to trade back 9 spots, I get a pick this year, and I get a 5th this year instead of a 7th next year. I do quite like that, depending who's on the board. Let's see. Ideally, I mean, a quarterback could take Will Howard, but I don't really want to take any of these guys too early. I'd rather take a 7th round guy like Leonard, Cook, Rourke, Show. Offensive line is fine. Edge, we already got, but maybe a D tackle. I see Elijah Roberts. That could definitely be taken beforehand. I think I'm going to reject that offer from the Steelers and then just pick Elijah Roberts. Front 7 needs help for the Panthers, so Elijah Robert is going to be that key. Next up, we have 4 more picks left in this draft. Ideally, maybe one more receiver. I think a DB would also do well. I see Malachi Moore out of Alabama, and I'm just going to pull the trigger on Malachi Moore. He's not going to be here for too much longer, and he's a solid safety out of Alabama. Alabama themselves didn't have a great year, but Malachi Moore did. So I'm going to go and pick him up. Next thing we're going to do is, I think now is the time. Oh my gosh, I see Ollie Gordon here at 147. I know we just paid Chuba Hubbard. And Jonathan Brooks is our only pretty much our only other backup running back, except for Edwards-Helaire, who kind of sucks. So I'm going to take Ollie Gordon II right here at 147. Running back depth goes a long way, especially if you guys get injured. Now I think is the time where we're going to take, we've gone pretty much every position. We're going to double up maybe on receiver. I don't like any of these guys up here. And before he goes again, I think we're going to go with Curtis Rourke. Because, you know, he was hurt all year. But despite being hurt all year, by hurt all year, I mean, like, apparently he was playing through a torn ACL, which is wild. And that's the type of guy I'd want backing up Bryce Young in case he ever goes down. I'm cool with having him as a backup. So what do we got? We got an edge, a receiver, linebacker, tight ends, D tackles, safeties, and then a quarterback. And then lastly, I think we're just going to shore up the defense a little bit more with another edge rusher out of LSU, Savion Jones. We're just going to take best player available here. And, you know, I mean, is there anyone else that I really... Jack Kaiser. Oh, Jack Kaiser's good, though. I don't know. Do I want to grab another linebacker or grab another edge? I think because we have Jadeveon Clowney still, I'm going to grab Jack Kaiser over him just because he's ranked a little bit higher. I mean, he went farther, and we have our edges locked down with James Pierce Jr. and what's his face? Jadeveon Clowney. So we're going to get a little bit more linebacker depth with Jack Kaiser to back up Jay Higgins and Josie Jewell, and this is the draft. We got a third from next year, which is also important. But James Pierce in the first, Isaiah Bond, Jay Higgins, Terrace Ferguson, Elijah Roberts, Malachi Moore, Ollie Gordon, Curtis Rourke, Jack Kaiser, and a third. So overall, I mean, you got Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard, Thielen, Leggett, Bond, Sanders / Ferguson. Offensive line stays the same. James Pierce, we let Tuttle go. So we have, who's our other D tackles? Derek Brown, Ashawn Robinson. It's like Ashawn Robinson goes to D tackle. So does Derek Brown. You also have linebackers. You just got a ton of depth at there. No one even really crazy. I mean, Shaq Thompson you've also got, but no one amazing. And then our defensive back room, I mean, we still got J.C. Horn, Xavier Woods, Jordan Fuller. Not too bad. Overall, over this team, I'm not too high on them, but I'm also not too low. Can Bryce Young get the job done? That's the question I have. And I don't think that this team has the top-end talent. I mean, their top-end... Bryce Young's not an elite quarterback. Chuba Hubbard's not an elite running back. Derek Brown's not an elite D-end. They have no truly elite players that make a direct impact. Robert Hunt's a good guard, but you can't win off of one guard. You need people around him. If you have the best offensive line in the league but nothing else, then you're probably not going to do well. So that's why I'm going to throw the Carolina Panthers in bad team again. I know Bryce Young picked it up at the end and probably would have been close to the playoffs had he not had such a bad start. But I just don't see this team having the top-end talent that some of these other teams do. Like, I mean, the Raiders got Max Crosby. Giants have Dexter Lawrence, Malik Neighbors. The Patriots have Drake May. They're going to grab, I think I had them taking Abdul Carter as well, who's going to be an absolute stud. Christian Gonzalez. The Panthers just don't really have any of those guys. They're not as bad as number one pick contention, which honestly, based on all the other teams we have here, it might just be the Browns. But overall, that's where I'll throw the Panthers. I hope you guys enjoyed this Panthers rebuild video. And if you guys did, please leave a like and comment once again. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.